The Pope's Final Message, a novella by P.J. Gott and Logan Light. Chapter 17, The Name That Was Buried. It was nearly dusk when they returned to the Basilica Santa Maria Maggiore. This time the guards did not stop them. The Pope had arranged everything. A Franciscan met them in silence and led them down a series of corridors through a locked door and into a room that had not seen daylight for centuries. Inside, a single spotlight illuminated a stone tablet encased in glass. Its surface was rough, its inscription barely visible. Pamela leaned close. Is it Latin? The Franciscan shook his head. No, it's Hebrew, but disguised. It's an enigma within an enigma. Lia stared at the inscription. Is this the true name? The Franciscan nodded. Yes, the one buried beneath all others. It was meant never to be spoken, only recognized. Pamela whispered, not a name of possession, but of presence, a phrase that would return to her later when the name and legacy of the Magdalene risked being co-opted once again. She traced the shape with her finger, careful not to touch the glass. The letters shimmered for an instant. Below the stone was a bronze plaque. It read, For the one who will carry the breath and restore the crown. The Franciscan handed Pamela a worn case. It's not sealed. It's waiting. Pamela opened it. Inside was a parchment so thin it might have been skin. A map, hand-drawn, marked with a spiral that began in Jerusalem and widened until it reached Rome. She held it up to the light. Faint ink lines revealed a secondary image overlaid across the spiral. A tree, its roots beneath the Temple Mount, its branches reaching the stars. A tree of remembrance, Lia said quietly. Pamela nodded. The line was never broken, just buried like a seed, waiting for light, like the tree of remembrance, reaching toward the stars. The Franciscan stepped back, now uncovered. The chamber was utterly still. Pamela placed the silver feather atop the glass case. For the name that was never lost, she whispered, only hidden. She turned to Lia. We have the map, the voice, the memory. Now we find the living line. And in the quiet that followed, even the walls seemed to lean in and listen. I want to fill out this short chapter by sharing some of the photographs I've been fortunate enough to take, first in 2015 with my BFF Pam, and again in 2023 when I returned to take more photos with our Italian friend Lia. Pam and I were surprised and fascinated by the obvious adoration of the divine feminine in the iconography of the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore. Eight-pointed stars decorate the ceiling. And the ancient depiction of Venus, which is what Julius Caesar claimed as his genetic origin. And legends of travelers from Venus abound in myth and legend. Here we find Jesus crowning the divine feminine, the Betula M and that Ella M. And notice he's holding a sacred text open to, no doubt, Micah 4:8 through 10, prophecy of the return of daughter Jerusalem to her rightful place as the great mother and teacher of peace, which is the translation of Yaru Shalom. Here is Cardinal Agostino Favoriti, who may have chosen to surround himself in enigmas to reveal that he knew, but the truth about Jesus and Mary Magdalene was hidden from the people in enigmas. This image includes allegorical figures of fortitude with a lion, which is the symbol of Sibylle, and religion with a cross. And it should be noted that Neoplatonic readings associated the pine tree of Attis with the cross of Jesus. And between them is a puto, or is that a baby Jesus, perhaps? He's holding a book open to a page written in Latin. So here are female images that are depicted with items that associate them with Cybele and Attis. And the translation of that open page is, after the lower world neither departed nor surmounted in understanding and treasure. In Neo-Pythagorean readings, the myth of Attis took on spiritual and redemptive overtones. Because Cybele is seen as a goddess who descends into the underworld or symbolically reaches down through ritual to rescue or partially resurrect Attis. So, in this symbolic sense, she plays a role analogous to Isis restoring Osiris in Egypt, which explains the pyramid. But it's the baker's tomb in Rome that reveals what Cardinal Favorini and others knew but withheld, perhaps waiting for the right time. The baker's tomb stands virtually ignored and untended on the east side of Rome. Weeds have grown up around it, but even they celebrate the secret, displaying yellow flowers to celebrate the sun, the light of the son and daughter who were entombed within it. The baker's tomb is the most important artifact in historical Jesus research. Baker's tomb has been misidentified and misdated since Pope Gregory XVI had it uncovered in 1848, the year before his official condemnation of the Atlantic slave trade. The very fact that it was buried during the purge of heresies in the 5th century, after the death of the last Nazi, demands a closer inspection of the official claims regarding its builder and its purpose. A prosperous freedman baker flaunting his wealth is ridiculous because it doesn't answer the question, why was it buried? This tomb was constructed to hold the remains of the baker, introduced in Genesis and celebrated during the Ides of March, and her beloved husband, the Nazarene high priest called Jesus the Nazarene. This is the baker's tomb in the Porte Maggiore as they appeared or disappeared for more than 1,400 years. You can see just one end of the baker's tomb in this rendering. It's barely visible, and all of the identifying inscriptions, of course, are out of sight. Needless to say, demonstrated by the sheer number of photographs I've taken, I'm obsessed with the baker's tomb and what it represents. So I'll cease narrations, and I'm just going to share the beauty of this tomb and gate with several more slides. This concludes Chapter 17. Join us next time for Chapter 18, The Final Spiral.